Hey. I'm low key trying to turn the camera off, but I don't know. Hey, y'all. I can hear myself in the background. Hold on. I'm low key trying to turn the camera off. Oh boy. But I don't know. Hey, y'all. I can hear myself in the background. Hey, girl. Hey. What's up? What's up? I got my little friend with me tonight. Got my little friend. Oh, y'all. I have a new plushie. It's Angelica from Rugrats, but I'm not bringing her out yet. We're just gonna chill with him tonight. He doesn't have a name, but let me work my little buttons over here. Thank you, girl. Thank you. You know you gotta have a little plushie, a good little plushie around. Y'all, I wanted to do this video off camera, but I guess we're just gonna do it on camera. I tried to be a little lazy, but I guess that's not what's meant for tonight. So basically, y'all, we are doing a late night chill stream. We're going to listen to this woman's story, her experience. Um, she went on Jeff Mara's podcast. I don't know too much about him exactly, but I know that he interviews people. Well, I mean, he interviews them, but really he just lets them speak. And they tell their story and things that they've experienced, and there's just so many unique stories on there. So I would like to listen to one of those stories with you and react to it live. So welcome. Thank y'all for hitting that like button. Shout out to the replay gang. Make sure y'all hit that like button as well. And y'all, let's chill back. I got me some chicken wings. I made some homemade buffalo chicken wings, grilled, or not grilled, baked, but they look grilled. And they're really hot. I use the Louisiana buffalo wing sauce for the first time, and it is very spicy. But I like spicy. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into our story. The title is We're Living in a Holographic Virtual Reality That's Going to End. This is the video. Shout out to Jeff Mara. I will leave the video link down below. So make sure y'all go and watch. We may not listen to the whole thing, but yeah. Yeah, y'all. Let's try these wings real quick. The heat coming off. I like my meat done well. It's very tender, falling off. Yeah.
And has come to the conclusion that we are living in a hologram.
I'm going to take this off of
Im Harrison, who has spent most of her life on her own.
I thought the baddies kidnapped you. No. So I just wanted to try something new, and it was exciting at first, and then just the fuckery with the whole network. I'm glad that I'm back too. But it just wasn't working out. And I had an epiphany. I'm like, what am I doing? What are you doing? 10 out of 10. And they're very spicy. Anyway, let's go ahead and jump into the story. Let me know if you can hear, okay?
A podcast. Here's Jeff.
My guest is Lisa M. Harrison, who has spent most of her life on her own personal spiritual journey and has come to the conclusion that we are living in a holographic virtual reality. In 2016, a being from outside of this reality made contact with Lisa and confirmed many of these understandings about our reality and provided much more information about our history, current situation, and the potential future. Lisa, thank you for joining me today and welcome.
Thank you. It's lovely to be here.
So, if you don't mind, let's start right about when you met with this being and go from there.
It was October of 2016. I had several personal spiritual awakenings up to that point. And about 2 weeks before.
I'm going to let you know off rip. I will pause it periodically to talk about things that, seem interesting to me and to do commentary because I don't want to just play it all the way through. I'm not trying to get copywritten. I actually want to talk about, her story. So just putting that out there. So if anyone does not like that kind of thing, this is a commentary channel, okay? But if you do like that kind of thing, stick it out with me. Let's sit back and relax, y'all. It is Eve of Eve, and we're just going to have fun with this. This is about an hour, so we'll be here a little over an hour. So, yeah, y'all, welcome. Hey, brother, welcome in. Welcome, welcome. Peace to y'all. Thank y'all. So, this is her. That's what she looks like. So, periodically, I will just show you the video and, we'll talk and, just vibe with me. Hey, Shay. Welcome in, Shayla. Look, all my babes are here. What's up, Rugrats? What's up, y'all? Look, we got to name him. We have to name him. What's his name going to be? What's up, Shay Shay? I'm doing well. How's everybody doing? Look, we got to welcome in the fam. Okay, welcome in the fam. Lala. Lala the Grouch. I like that. Lala the Grouch. Lala the Grouch. I like that. Welcome, Lala the Grouch. Okay. I'm at work tuning in. Ooh, Shay Shay. I'm telling. Where you work, girl? Where my spare phone? I'm calling right now. Look, you better be lucky it's not within arm's reach, okay? Because that ass would have been towed on. Can't be too grouchy with that cute name. Oh my God, she's so cute. At a hospital. Oh, you okay, girl? You okay? Look, you might need this escapism. I won't tell on you tonight. I'm working too. Let me find. I'm not gonna judge. I'm gonna just shut my mouth and play the video. Okay, I'm here for one thing. Look. I missed y'all. Thank y'all for coming in. I'll try not to be too loud. But anyway, let's get into her story, y'all, because y'all know how we get. Y'all already know. Okay.
I had another one.
So, if you don't mind, let's start right about when you.
Sorry, y'all. My bad. See, y'all got me all discombobulated. I blame Shay Shay.
You met with this being and go from there.
It was October of 2016. I had several personal spiritual awakenings up to that point. And about 2 weeks before, I had another awakening. And I was myself doing YouTube shows a couple of times a week at that point. And, excuse me, I sort of announced it with them. I got my mojo back. And it was a very, very energetic, psychic, powerful couple of weeks. And one night, my husband and I got into bed with my computer because we were going to watch something on YouTube, and the mouse on my screen just started moving around all by itself. And I thought, oh, what's going on with my computer? And then when I tried to take control of it, I could feel it both, I don't know how to explain it, but I could feel it biting me.
Like a Ouija board.
And I was like, I've been hacked. That's the only explanation. My computer's been hacked. So I slammed it.
Imagine touching your computer, like touching the mouse and feeling it move. Like, what?
I put it down. And my husband said, well, maybe you have, but let's see what they want to say. I've spoken to whistleblowers over the years and, been involved in different things that taking on the system, so to speak, that got sometimes the wrong kind of attention. So who knows who this could have been. But I open my computer and again, it starts moving around and it goes up into the browser and starts clicking. I had YouTube open and it started clicking on different videos, all seeming very meaningful. And then it brought open the online keyboard, or the on-screen keyboard. So it was actually able to type rather than just click around. And said hello. Said hello, Lisa. And I was like, oh, who's this? Said it was a friend. I have something to show you. And opened up Google Earth on my computer. Took me to some places that were, you'd have to know what you were doing on Google Earth to know, because from a great distance, she would pinpoint a spot and just zoom straight into it, and found myself going through layers. So down into the ocean, and then another layer opened up. Like we'd gone through a sky into what was underneath that. And I was like, what is going on? And then Google Sky, she opens up Google Sky and shows all these different constellations, and this is where you think you're from, and this is where, the invasion came from, and this is where this and that. Extraordinary conversation. And I was too scared to touch my computer. So I grabbed my phone.
Yeah.
And I just started filming the screen, filming my keyboard, and, look, it's not me, I'm not touching this, And I did that for about half an hour. And then the camera on my phone turned off. And it would not come back on again.
Our Zoom session just totally lagged and we're
already. I have so many questions. I mean, how was your husband feeling with all this going on? He's the one that told you to proceed to talk to an entity that was taking over your computer, and the entity made the computer do things that the computer doesn't even do on a regular day, and show you realms up under the sea. And my mind is already blown, y'all. We are literally 4 minutes and 35 seconds. Let me press play, y'all. This is I knew this was a good idea. Come on, girl. Keep talking.
All locked up. Do you think that this being that you're speaking of was doing that?
I know that they're participating in this call right now due to what they do to my Zoom with the reactions. And that's been happening since we pressed record. So it may get to the point where you see it happen on screen, a thumbs up or a wave, but usually it just happens at my end and I see it. And it's confirmation for me that they're confirming something that I'm saying, or they're saying hello to it's happening now. I put my hand up, it puts its hand up. It's too funny.
This is so I gotta sit up.
I don't know where we left off either.
Well, since we got interrupted, can you briefly tell us about these spiritual awakenings, or at least one of them that possibly gave you the ability to come in contact with this being?
There were lots of little things during my childhood that included epilepsy, and there is a connection between epilepsy and psychic phenomenon.
So she had epilepsy as a child.
So I think it started when I was about.
That's involuntary seizures, right? Right. That word fucks me up, but
Then and there was, I would say, minor ones throughout the years. But on Christmas Day of 2013, I spent from I think 10 a.m. in the morning till about 11 o'clock that night in and out of my body. And when I was out, all I was saying was, the timelines are collapsing. The timelines are collapsing. And then when I'd come back, I'd go, oh, how long has I gone? And someone would say, 45 minutes. Like, okay, and I've gone again. My memory of that day is these flashes, literally like just photos, snapshots, that probably only make up about 30 seconds if I counted them all up. But it's of being in an experience where, like, I'm on a timeline and I'm seeing a scene. It started with alternative ones that I was in. So other places that I could have been on that day, on Christmas Day. Some were with people I knew, some were with people I did not know at all. And I felt and saw the timeline come from behind me and close out in front of me. And then bang, into the next one. Bang, into the next one.
I need something to drink.
Somehow I just intuitively knew that what I was experiencing was all the extraneous timelines closing out. And I had no context for that then. I can't say timelines was something I ever really gave much thought to. That was profound experience that left me in a heightened state of consciousness for about 3 months consistently. I was highly psychic. I was highly intuitive. I was highly empathic. I was clearly emanating an energy that I wasn't aware of, but the reaction to people around me was obvious. And then came down with a thud after about 3 months back into this reality. And then about two weeks prior to the contact, there was another one. And again, it took me into that heightened state. It wasn't as intense by any stretch, but it did take me back into that heightened state. Literally, it is a place of living in your heart and in unconditional love. And it's a beautiful place to be, and the world's a beautiful place because you're seeing through your heart. And it was after about 2 weeks of that the contact was made. And what I understand, and from everything I've experienced since then, because it's been going on for 6 and a bit years, is that this definitely is a construct or a simulation or a matrix or any of those words work, holographic, that we inside this construct, are in fact the creators. We are the creator beings. This is what we do. We create constructs for experiences in density. There are people, family members, outside of the construct who did not come in to play, so to speak, who are helping and working with us. We are working from external and internal, working together to close this particular construct out. So it's not, the term.
Hold on. Working together to do what? Close out this construct.
The ones we've been waiting for is true, because we are also so it's not, the term "we are the ones we've been waiting for" is true, because we are also, the greater part of us is also on the outside of this construct. It's projected an aspect of itself in here to play the game. no differently to you sitting on your couch, putting on a virtual headset and entering a virtual game. So you're both inside the game and outside the game. And so are we. And we are in the process of putting ourselves back together again so that we can exit this place whole.
When you say we create the construct, does that mean we do it collectively? Or we each individually create our own little construct within our sphere of influence?
Macro and micro. So the greater construct is everything that we perceive. Right? Universes, the galactics and the alien realms and the angelic realms and even the gods, and it's all inside this construct. So the stories that we've got are based on truth. They're often just a little bit distorted. So from what I understand, this particular construct was the desire of one particular being who worked with a group. Basically, he put the call out and said, I've got this idea for a construct, and anybody want to participate in playing? 12 people responded.
Come the fuck through. I'm sorry, y'all. Just when stuff be connecting and shit be making sense. She's talking about the Sibyls. She's talking about the 12 scientists. She's
collectively agreed to.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Who worked
when the math be mathing.
Basically, he put the call out and said, I've got this idea for a construct, and anybody want to participate in playing? 12 people responded. So there was 13 of them that collectively agreed to work on the creation of this place. Just those 13. I've got to get more context.
Girl.
Inside the construct is 12.
This woman is ancient. The energy that I feel off this woman, she's not lying. These people can't be lying, y'all. As we go through this series, because this is the spark of a series. I like this already. Do y'all like this? Y'all are going to see that she's not the only one talking like this. There's hundreds, thousands of people with similar experiences. And I told y'all my dream, my travel experience, where I went, who I am, where I come from. I'm not crazy. We're not crazy.
Realms, right? And inside
I'm gonna rewind it a little bit. My bad, y'all.
Bigger construct. Inside the construct is 12 realms, right? And inside those realms are dimensional spaces. It's what we call dimensions. So those 12, those 13 experienced the first one, the first level of this. Ironed out some of the kinks, refined the template, maybe did that a few times. We are
evolving, yeah.
And then they opened the doors to everyone, open invitation, who wants to come. And that's when a lot of beings came in here to participate and have the experience. And then I talked about this actually just this week on the updates that I do. This particular construct was based on free will, which was an experiment. all other constructs, all other creations are based on the principle or the operating system, you could say, of freedom. We tend to think that those two things are one and the same, and they're not.
Let me stop you for a second because I have questions and I don't want you to get too far beyond me.
Sure.
These 12 or 13 beings that created this construct, would they be equal to us or more advanced beings?
They're just us.
Okay.
We are them. Yeah.
Is there a God? And if so, how does God play into all of this or fit into all of this?
I've asked one of the first conversations I had with the being who I called Lidu, because after the character in the movie, Fifth Element, one of the first questions I asked her was, is there a God? And she said, nobody knows. And then she said, maybe we'll find out it's us. There does seem to be what we could refer to.
I think I'm getting emotional. I think that the Most High Mother and Father is so, the only word I can use is powerful, so precious, so pure, that we'll never know how to conceptualize or how to. I genuinely feel primordial beings that are out there right now, not us in our dense state right now. Think your higher self. I don't even think they could even fathom or that they even know. You know what I'm saying? What source exactly they even come from. You know what I'm saying? It's so beyond. I don't think we're supposed to know. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there's a respect there. Like it just has, you know what I'm saying? That's for a reason. Because if we knew, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know that it's not a person. I'm talking very deep right now. I'm talking, if you feel me. It's, I don't even know the words. You know what I'm, because there's no word. It's unfathomable. You know what I'm saying? It's, this is some powerful ass shit. That's some powerful ass shit right there.
As a creator. But again, that is one of us, because we are created beings. There is definitely what I call source, which is not a being necessarily. Right. It's an energy field that's conscious.
Right.
From which things.
It's an intelligence that you can't conceptualize. Like.
But whether we have a God in the sense of a biblical God, that seems to be a story that we've got inside this construct.
Would it be accurate to say that we created this simulation?
Yeah, we did. Yeah. And we've all participated in it. And we're all powering it.
Now, you mentioned Li Lu. That's the being that took over your computer.
Mm-hmm.
And she is also basically a being like us, just not incarnating on the planet.
She chose not to incarnate to help from the outside because many have come in, incarnated in here in order to help close it out, in order to help fix things, and gotten lost. Because from what I understand, it was free will that resulted in the virus, or what I call the mind virus.
It's interesting that she's speaking of this entity or this consciousness that has taken over her computer like a respectable human, like she has emotion. You know, she feared getting lost in the realm. So I find that interesting that that connection to emotion is still the, you know what I'm saying, and she's in a different realm. When we're taught here, like in this realm, that when we get to the higher realm, our morals go out the window. I don't know if I believe that or not. You know, the more and more I find out, y'all, the more trippy it gets, and just the more shit makes sense, and it gets scary, but in a beautiful way. Because yeah, let me just press play. That will be here for 4 or 5 hours. Let me just press play.
That infected this place. And people who were heavily infected, who sought control, locked the construct from the inside. And they were monitoring everybody who came into the game. So there used to be what people would call portals, I guess. There used to be multiple entry points into the game, but they were closed, only 1 or 2 left open, and heavily monitored. So you couldn't incarnate in here without going through that, like TSA, right? And put through a mind wipe, put through a memory loss, and so many got lost in here. So it was imperative to find a way to access this place without having to go through that process. So that's what a team from home have done. Does that make sense?
So basically, we created this construct.
Makes sense to
and
me.
it's gone off the rails now.
But the good news is, it's closing. My experience of the timelines collapsing in 2013, which I had no context for. And just to give more context.
Please.
When I started doing pretty much what you were doing, interviews back in 2009, my focus was on 2012. Because I had come across the main calendar in the mid-90s. 2012 seemed like a lifetime away at that point. But come 2009, it was on our doorstep, and I wanted to understand more. I wanted to see if there was anything to this.
Excuse me, y'all. Daughter, can you please give me a paper towel, please? I have sauce all on my hands.
Okay.
Thank you.
Welcome.
1 second, y'all. I made some homemade wings. Those of y'all that are just coming in, welcome to y'all, by the way. Thank you. And can you shut my door for me, please? Thank you. All right. Let's get right back into it, y'all. I rewinded it back a couple seconds.
That point, but come 2009, it was on our doorstep, and I wanted to understand more. I wanted to see if there was anything to this. 2012, by the time we got to December of 2012, I understood the calendar to be referring to the end of time, not the end of the world. So one of the way in which this solution for this place came about, I always use computer and technology terminology because it's easy. Most people understand the basics of a computer and a hard drive and, the peripheral technology. So if this game that we're on, you can think of as a virtual reality game that's on a particular hard drive, and that particular hard drive has got a virus on it, and you can't access the files, you can't get in, it's locked from the inside. The solution was to transfer the entire game onto a new, uncorrupted hard drive. Right? So we transferred all the files, all the good, the bad, the ugly, the distorted, the corrupted, everything had to come over. And that was happening during 2013. We were doing this transfer. Because every construct also has a time limit. Like any game, you work your way up through the levels of the game and then you leave the game.
Right, that makes sense.
This one was supposed to end in 2012. But because it was so corrupted, and because our consciousness was so deeply embedded in the game, being artificially recycled so many times, mind wiped so many times, fractalized, we were in so many pieces that when the game ended, we were broken. Right? We weren't extracted from the game whole. Holmes said it led to the greatest mind wipe the universe has ever known. So back up.
Okay.
Whoops. Okay.
Yeah.
Transfer everything over into a new uncorrupted hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
And what we essentially did was buy ourselves more time.
Right.
Right? In a place where there is access from the outside. They can actually access the files properly. They can come in, so to speak, right? Incarnating here or manifesting here without going through the TSA.
Hold on. Wait a minute. CERN. The portals. The reason for CERN even opening. The manipulation and the fugazi finesse of it all, and the lies that they told us on why they actually made it. We just want to test particles and look at particles in basketballs and airplanes. Y'all was penetrating surfaces to bring intelligence in. Hint, hint, what we're going through now. AI. All it's just making sense. You know, just put your foot out. You feel what I'm saying? You?
So, which means coming in with more memories, coming in.
I'm just eating my chicken wings.
Knowledge and memory of who you are and what you're here for. So that happened in 2013, and then at the end of 13, all of the manipulated, extraneous, falsely created timelines were able to be deleted. That's when we could start deleting the files.
We are smarter than we realize. Facts. Another thing I just thought about too, y'all. The whole what do they call that? Right. Good point. We recreated the AI. The whole Nelson Mandela, the Mandela effect thing. She just made a comment. Now they're able to change stuff, input stuff, output. I'm gonna rewind a couple more minutes or a couple seconds. I'm gonna be quiet for a couple minutes. Let it play, okay?
All of the manipulated, extraneous, falsely created timelines were able to be deleted. That's when we could start deleting the files. Right? And that's when we started to really see the Mandela effects.
See?
Because not even.
See, I said it before she even said it. Come through, spirit. Come. I can throw this plate right now. Come the fuck through. I love it. Talk your shit, Pooh.
The timelines were able to be deleted. That's when we could start deleting the files. Right? And that's when we started to really see the Mandela effects kick in. Because not even all the files didn't quite move over properly.
I'm pausing it again. So what? Now they're gonna be like, watch. The blacks were never slaves. What are you talking about? We never said that. The history books don't say that. Everyone's treated equally. Here in America, you're gonna go back in 1930. You know how they have the white people trimming the hedges, and this is the American dream, and buy this dishwasher, and you had little Betty Sue, and you know, the all-American family. There's gonna be black folks in the commercials. Watch what I say. Watch what I say. Watch what I say. They're gonna erase the history right up under our motherfucking nose and have us looking crazy. Like we
positive
stupid
timeline. The whole world, the whole construct.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that. We were working on that, refining all of that from 14, 15, and 16. And then, in my observation, and also as a result of the contact happening in October of 16, I think that's when we achieved a single timeline. And the easiest way to sort of acknowledge that for me is Mr. T.
Yep, holistic.
Because when he came on the scene, and it didn't matter where you lived, what country, what part of the world, it didn't matter whether you were political, it didn't matter which side of that aisle you were on, you had to have an opinion on him. You had to love him or hate him. You had to be pro or anti. And it was like the first time that I saw that we were kind of being all forced under a single narrative around this one individual too, which was
odd,
quite remarkable. And then, of course, in 2020, the whole world did get under one narrative, right?
The jab, jab, smack, smack.
So we're on one single timeline, and we are in overtime. And the whole idea is to awaken to who we are, to reclaim as much of ourselves that are in these little pieces all over the game, so that we can be as whole as possible when we leave.
What do you mean by whole? Personally or all together as one being?
I mean whole as in just as you as an individual in your own sovereign signature, and not in fractured little pieces everywhere.
Right.
Some people believe that we are trapped here in reincarnation cycles over and over again. Do you think that's true as far as, this construct being corrupted, and that's part of it?
Yeah, it has been. I think that has been absolutely true. And in 2011, I had a rather profound experience of seeing, I was shown what looked like a typical recycling factory. I know these aren't quite literal, right? They're metaphoric images for me to get the idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on the moon. And souls, and I've done interviews. I've interviewed people who talk about the white light, and the lightning guy, I can't remember his name now. And that the white light was a lure, a trap, to get you to go into the recycling facility.
It's a solar light.
And in 2011, at the end of 2011, it was
Absolutely.
destroyed.
She knows
and
her
it was destroyed
shit.
by us, actually, by humans on the ground, because what I saw was the light coming from all of these hearts all over the planet.
I feel like the moon
feeding into this energy line.
The moon traps our motherfucking souls here to keep incarnating in this bitch.
And that went to the moon and just blew up. The evidence for me, again, for that, my own personal observations around what I see in relationship to what I get, is after 2011 we started to see orbs. You couldn't take a photo without orbs. And the more people in the photo, the more orbs. So to me, that was the beings who had passed, but the construct was still locked, but they weren't being recycled. Right? So they had nowhere to go. So they were just hanging around. Come the end of 16, the doors were opened, so they were able to leave, and the whole orbs phenomenon has sort of died off considerably. That is reincarnation, forced reincarnation, is no longer the case. There are people who are leaving.
You're welcome, sis. No problem.
In the bodies, leaving these bodies and coming straight back in rather quickly by choice, because they want to be here for what's happening. They want to be here for the event, the ascension, whatever we want to call it.
Right.
But it takes a lot on. It has a lot of wear on the body. It requires a lot of this physical body, and if they don't think their physical bodies are going to cope and get them there, they're leaving and coming back. Because it doesn't matter if you're 6 months old, 3 months old when this happens. If you're physically in body here when it goes down, you get the benefit.
What is the benefit?
Right.
This has never happened before. Okay, so we've never been in a construct that's gone this far. The beings in it, who, even if you've only been here once, just one little brief lifetime, when you leave here, you leave with the collective knowledge of the knowledge of the collective experience. Your experiences here aren't the same as mine.
Right.
But the knowledge and the wisdom you gain, I will have when I leave, and vice versa. Because the records of this whole place and the whole experience and everybody's in it is accessible by us after we've been here. So it's a huge, huge leap in our, I guess you could say, evolution, for want of a better word. And because this experience has changed so much, we aren't actually going back to where we came from. Source has had to create something new. And Source has created something new for us to move into. And it's because you can't grow up in a small town, for example. Spend your life traveling the world, having incredible experiences.
And then go back to that small
seeing
town.
the most inspiring and incredible and horrific things. And then go back to your small town and expect to fit in with people who have never left their town. You know what I mean? It's, the gap between you is just too big. So, and also because of what was learned overall about this place, creation itself has evolved.
I like the way that she explained that, because it made perfect sense. That was perfect. The way she explained that was absolutely perfect.
Would have been pleasant for many of us, but the bigger picture is it's been kind of worth it.
When do you think this is going to close out?
Well, isn't that $1 million question? I think it was supposed to in 2016. I think that's what we were bought. That period of time was what we bought ourselves, but it still wasn't enough. I have my own I don't know, intuitive read on things is that the period we are in now, the events that are about to unfold, completes by August 8th, the Lionsgate. On the other side of that, it feels like we're in a very, very positive space. So even though we bought ourselves those few extra years and it wasn't enough, and even though we've had to go into overtime on this copy, it still isn't enough.
Right.
There was, because there are so many broken people and so many broken pieces of consciousness. So there has been, from what Home has explained to me, I just sort of collectively refer to all that contact as from Home. Another realm created for those who need even more time. And I would not be surprised if we're not already in it. March 8. So these little shifts into copies of copies, we haven't done it consciously. It's been seamless. But on March 8, I was aware that we had moved again. And to me, I could say we are in this extra space that's been created for more time. And what's going to happen between now and, say, August is the opportunity for us to actually see the truth of where we are. Because all of these storylines, all of these narratives that we live with, there's a little piece of our consciousness in all of them, if we're invested in them. If you're invested in a political narrative, if you're invested in a financial narrative, if you're whatever narrative you're invested in, there's a little piece of your consciousness in that. So it needs to collapse so that you can reclaim that piece of your consciousness. If you're not going to consciously do it yourself, make a choice, I'm pulling back my energy from that narrative. When you do that, you actually help it collapse. Or it's going to collapse and you'll be able to take it back at that point. Because all the narratives are playing out at once. And this is also that we can pull back our energy, pull back our consciousness, stop fueling it and feeding it and powering it. So they're all going to collapse. And on the other side of that, August looks pretty good.
What does the collapse look like?
Well, it looks like things being exposed. It looks like your faith and trust in things that are not based in truth and authenticity and integrity being exposed and collapsing. Because nothing that is not built on a foundation of truth and integrity will stand. So it's going to look like government structures, institutions, these things falling away because they're all harvesting mechanisms. They're not really built for us, by us. They're all there to harvest our energy and to power and fund other things. But they're also not in our best interest.
So, look like anarchy is such a dark term, but something like anarchy?
I don't think so. Because the energies in this space that we find ourselves in, that, well, at least me, that I find myself in as of March 8, are very, very supportive. So, yeah, it's going to be, you'll have that moment of, oh my God, this just happened and this is going to collapse and what does that mean for me? And then something comes in to pick you up, to catch you. It's going to be a bit of a roller coaster in that way. You may have heard the term recently with some people that you might have interviewed that, we're going to go through some sort of near-death experience. And we kind of are. They're going to be lots of little ones of like, what does that mean for me? How am I going to, But energetically as well as socially, it just feels like things are just going to come in just underneath, just behind and catch us. So it doesn't have to disintegrate into anarchy or civil war or absolute chaos. It's going to be very important, if people can do it, to just try and stay in that place of neutrality and because we can't move into something better without letting go of the old. And it doesn't have to be destructive.
Physically, this planet, this construct is still going to exist. It's just the energy here and what's happening here is going to be different?
Yes and no. Yes and no, from what I understand. This place is coming to an end in that there will not be any more beings coming into it or living in it, having an experience in it. But nothing is ever destroyed. It'll literally go on the library shelf and go, that was that construct. Right? There isn't there stuff in the Bible about God's library or, So it's like, it just gets shelved. It gets archived. We may, or some will, for sure, be very conscious of the fact that they've left. And they're somewhere else. They're in a completely different space. For the most part, I think the majority of people will not necessarily realise that consciously. They might in hindsight later on, but it'll be life, if they're in the right place, mentally and in their hearts, it'll just be that life just starts to get better and better and better and better incrementally until they've pulled enough of themselves back together again. They've expanded their consciousness and they can see the bigger picture. It'll be seamless for most.
Let's get back to Li Lu.
Right.
Did she reach out to you because you are a podcast host and perhaps you could spread her message? Or was it some other reason?
No, it was, according to her, we are connected at home. And we planned this before I came in, that we would work together this way.
She is in constant communication with you?
In varying degrees. When that contact first started in 16, we talked all day, every day, for months. Then she became busier in the sense of figuring out certain things about the way the construct worked, and then she'd come back and report to me. Then it became less and less. In terms of voices, talk, communication, conversation in the computer, doesn't happen very often. Not in the last 12 months. But the telepathic and energetic communication has increased considerably, as well as her doing other things like she's doing now on my computer without saying anything to let me know she's around. So it's still very much happening.
Would you say that all this information you have about the construct comes from her?
No. It's my own insights, experiences, downloads, uploads, all that stuff as well.
Well, what has she added to what you already knew?
This is interesting stuff right here, y'all. I'm like
Nice.
blown away.
The structure of it all. It's one thing to come to the conclusion that you're living in a holographic construct, but it's another thing to understand the mechanics of it. So the mechanics of the realms, the mechanics of the dimensional spaces within those realms, the where the virus came from, how and why things went wrong. It's one thing to know this place is not exactly great, but how did that happen? She sort of filled in details, really. I'm trying to think if there is anything, that nothing comes to my head straight away that was like, well, actually now it does. There is a being that she said is the supporter of all life here, which is separate to what you would call the creator. She said she's probably what you would call Mother Earth or Earth. She said, but she is not the planet, because there is no planet. But she is the one who supports all life. So the idea that, this is a living, breathing being expressing herself as a planet that we are living on, that we are hurting, that we have damaged, that is somehow being harmed and all that. She and the being herself, because Lily brought her through to talk to me, they shattered that concept completely. She said, I support all life, and it was time. This is when it was time for her to leave. And this is going back to 2018. She was leaving this place. It had been an honour to play the role she did, and she was moving on to the new space to support life there. So in terms of a real mind bender, that one was one.
Kind of set off to the side, there is no planet. That's all part of the construct. I'm assuming that is what you're meaning, right?
Yeah, I mean, in 2015, this is all part of my journey too. Like in 2015, when the flat Earth thing exploded, I looked into that, and that's ultimately what led me to hologram. So, and Home has referred to it as an endless flat plane. And but the idea that it's a living, breathing being is what they were very adamant about is not the case.
Can you tell us about the pivotal moment and the calculation that you made that it made it obvious for you that this is a hologram?
I don't think there was one in particular. But what people refer to as glitches in the matrix, you know, I've had several that can't be explained. No, I can't say there was a single thing. It was an accumulation over years. And really, that probably started in 2014, thanks to a video by a woman called Yellow Rose for Texas. She released a video back then called The Lies NASA Told. It was the first time I'd come across this concept. I didn't know what to do with it, but it gave me context for some of my own experiences of operating in, I have what I call my sweet spot, where I am operating in two places at once. And one of them's in here and one of them's not. Doesn't happen very often, but when it does, it's quite intense and profound. So the concept started to give me somewhere to put my experiences that made sense in a way that nothing else had before. And then eventually they just build up.
There wasn't one event that shifted you from theory to certainty?
Not one that stands out, no, not at the moment.
But now
no, just an accumulation.
But now are you at the point of certainty?
Oh yeah. Don't doubt it. Don't doubt it. I mean, everything from, you can't even look up at the sky and see that thing, that white globe, that white spotlight we've got going on up there, and not wonder where the sun went. What happened to that? How many kids, when you were in school, drew pictures with the sun and drew a white one? Or white sunsets?
Right.
I mean, it didn't.
That part.
That's not our sun. I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is either.
It feels like a big spotlight out of a Truman Show.
Mm-hmm.
And even the heat of it is different. The way it feels on your skin is different.
Yep.
Seeing planes, I know you do see videos of this online, and if you've never seen it yourself, you'd think they were all crazy or psyops or whatever. But I've seen it myself 3 times. Planes that stop in midair. I've seen a bird fly through the window and through my room and disappear at the other side. I mean, get on.
That time I had that bird in my house, and there was no way that bird could have got in my dang old house.
Yeah, not
in
through
the
open window, like through the window. Lots of little things like that.
Do you believe that outside of this incarnation is our complete self, and while we're here, we're just a filtered piece of that? You know, I think most people call it the higher self, but I kind of like the term complete self.
Yeah. Yes, outside of this whole construct, there is the complete self. We are a projection of an aspect of that in here. And this particular realm, this is the final level of the game, right? And I think people really, hopefully will get to the point where they start to see just how incredible they are. Because these bodies in this realm, having this experience, is the condensed, compressed accumulation of everything that we've been in this construct. So every time we've worked our way down through the game, it would become more, and every level is more and more compressed. Yeah. So there's so much going on in here. So much wisdom, so much knowledge, so much information, so much data that has been accumulated. The idea that we are these tiny little baby souls and we're just here to learn in this school is a psyop on our consciousness, as far as I'm concerned. We are incredibly powerful. And we are bringing more of ourselves in all the time. It's like we're powering up for the final takeoff. And to do that, we're bringing more of ourselves in.
Do you think that we're so powerful that we don't know how to control it and we actually limit it?
Yes, I think that in different parts of the game, in different storylines, different timelines, different realms within the game, we have, as a result of free will, done things that we can't imagine and refuse to accept because the power has gone to our head. And we are being, at the moment, we are actually putting ourselves through little tests all the time. Since, I think, March 8, there's little tests to see, okay, can you handle this acknowledgement? Can you handle this gift? Can you handle this increase in your sensitivity? Can you handle this little bit more of abundance? Can you handle and see how you cope? And it's no one testing us but us. How much have you learned from your previous experiences and what you did last time? Because there are...
And I'm going to stop right there. If y'all want to watch the rest of the video, please go over to Jeff Mara Podcast. Okay, I'm going to show y'all what it looks like here. And I will also leave a link. As soon as I click out of here, I will leave a link. That way you guys can go watch the full video. There's still about 15 minutes left of her story. This is absolutely amazing. I'm taken aback. I really enjoy doing this with y'all, so I'm definitely going to come back and we will listen to more stories, listen to more people's out of body experiences, astro traveling experiences, stuff like that. This stuff is very, very interesting, and I believe homegirl. Okay, I believe every word she said, and a lot of things that she was saying was making a lot of sense. MJ said, "I'm like, wow, yeah." Talk about a rabbit hole. But peace to y'all, and in a minute.